how is conversational AI being used, and then what are some of the use cases. I'll also show some examples of what we have built for some of our customers in the insurance industry. So assisted by AI, I mean, this is again, as I said, there are like four stages, what they say in the maturity of artificial intelligence. One is, do it yourself without any assistance. I mean, that's the way the humans were doing. Now, we are getting into more of what we call as do it together, where humans are comfortable working with a smart assistant, whether it is a virtual assistant like a chatbot or it can even be a telephony where some portions of the calls are handled by a virtual assistant, right? So, and the next evolution, what they're really seeing in the world of AI is around, where the machines or the bot really does things on its own, and then the bots really working together. I mean, that's almost like utopia, maybe a few decades away and all that. But definitely, technology is going to evolve, and eventually, it'll get there. But right now, we are more in this stage of doing it together, where humans are trying to leverage, or rather, what I would call is these technologies, the conversational AI technologies, or the virtual assistants. They are augmenting the human capabilities. I mean, whether it is in the healthcare space or whether it is in the any industry handling the customer service requests and all that. I think we are in the second stage where humans are comfortable working with these virtual assistants or the AI bots. I mean, which is helping them with some significant gains. I mean, one is easy information access, improving productivity, or help trying to be more efficient and all that, right? Now, how do these changes help in value creation? I mean, so at the end of the day, how does it, I mean, this is what really matters, right? It's not just about leveraging a technology because it's so cool. It is, hey, at the end of the day, how does it really help in value creation? So customer experience, as I said, that's definitely one of the number one factor. So today, I mean, as I said, even if you have to know the weather, I mean, you can just sit in your sofa and ask, hey, Alexa, what's the weather today? Hey, Alexa, play the song, right? Similarly, I mean, as I said, if you can do that without even going to, say, your bank's website or something, hey, I mean, not just asking or shouting out to Alexa, within your smartphone, if you can chat and say that, hey, what happened to this particular ticket, or when is my premium due? Can I really do that? Those kind of, the way we used to chat with human beings, can I really do that? Over a conversation. Operational efficiencies and productivity. I mean, this is the second point is one of the major areas in which where most of the enterprises are adopting these technologies. One is, I mean, say for example, we work with a very large pet care provider in the US. As I mean, many of you would know, the documentation part is one of the most time consuming effort for the doctors. They hate it. I mean, they spend close to 30 to 40 minutes for every patient, to record it. So what we have done is, we have just built a real-time transcription while they are talking to the patient. The whole interaction, we have an application that just listens to it. So the doctor, the whole medical examination, he can just speak. The application listens to it, understands it, parses it, converts it to a medical record, all of that. I think, the way we have done is that 30 to 40 minutes of documentation time, we have brought it down to like 10 to 15 minutes, right? So basically, it is like giving a lot of time back to the doctors so that, they can do what they're really good at, which is seeing more patients, right? I think that's the other examples is around, say, call center efficiency, where, now, especially as I said, during the pandemic, some of the insurance companies, healthcare industry, they were heavily loaded with, calls. At the same time, they were also stressed for human resources because of, the lockdown and all. That's where the automation or the virtual assistants responding to calls and all that, I think these technologies really came in handy. So definitely productivity and efficiency gains are one of the common use case themes. New revenue streams, it's mainly because the example I told you now, you have, if it was just a website and the mobile app, now you have so many other ways to sell your services, right? I think that is one of the significant aspects of, where the new revenue streams really come into picture. Personalized services, all of us, I mean, we can see that anything we do today or anything we buy, or anything that is sold to us it is extremely hyper personalized. I think, given the ability of, the amount of data every enterprise has, now you have an option to completely personalize those services, for your customers. Right? So these are like the four major use cases theme in terms of value creation. Or in other words, as I said, if I have to truly break it down into bottom line goals, offloading your customer service requests, if 30 to 40% of the call, if they are mostly for information, you can have a virtual assistant respond to it rather than a human being, and human being could do a much higher value added task. Improving the customer experience, right? I mean, definitely, if there are more channels available, definitely, or the other ways, with these messaging platforms, with technology, you can have these services 24 by 7. I mean, without even having a human, responding to those calls on the other side, right? So that definitely, it's a significant uptick for customer experience. New delivery channels, I talked about it, how all these messaging platforms and smart speaker ecosystem are really, contributing to that. Revenue gains, obviously. If these new channels are going to bring in new revenue streams, or the cost reduction because of the efficiency gains and productivity gains, right? Definitely, I think those are some significant drivers, right? I mean, some statistics in terms of, from Gartner in terms of how, that's something like, 25%. This is last year, where would be handled by a virtual assistant. Or, most of the time these days, when you get a call number, it is pretty much answered by, there is a very, very high likelihood that, it is answered by a bot, right? So this is one, just a food for thought while we're talking a lot about AI, right? I think, um, while there is a perception that, hey, companies invest in these technologies primarily to save time and money, it is also true that, as I said, mainly because of the new, the millennials or the new generation, like the next gen individuals, they are also extremely comfortable talking to these, or rather running their experiences doing it this way. I have seen people, who are like extremely comfortable chatting rather than just picking up a phone and talking to somebody, right? I think that is also what is, that's happening as one of the drivers. It's not just about cost reduction. It's a driver. There is a lot of expectation from the next gen customers for similar
Okay,
experience.